knowing that the Dobbs decision will overturn Roe and will return an ethic of life to this country and put this issue back to the states.
It's still a small select group of people in office that are making the decision for all of the rest of us, and it is incredibly dangerous to hand it back over to the states.
The big story of the day, the landmark Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. People everywhere are weighing in on the future of abortion now in the hands of individual states. There is a lot to unpack on today's 4 to 5. Good afternoon. I'm Chad Silber here with Lauren Coleman and Eric Chilton.
Eric, we'll get to your forecast in just a second, but for now, let's kick off our team coverage on today's abortion rights decision. WFNY News 2's Ben Briscoe joins us with what today's ruling changes and what it doesn't.
5 members of the High Court joined the opinion overturning Roe v. Wade. The reason why boils down to this sentence right here from the opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any Constitution provision. So what does that mean? When the Constitution does not directly say something should or should not be allowed, the justices feel the states should decide, not the federal government. So, starting today, all these states in red have laws which could restrict abortion now that Roe v. Wade is no more. That includes all of our neighbors around us except for Virginia. The states in blue are the ones who pass laws protecting abortion rights. The closest to us is up here in Maryland. With all the different laws across the country, today's announcement is also bringing out a lot of different viewpoints.
No one should dictate to me what I need to do with my body, and I feel for them right now. I think they're going to have to make some very difficult decisions.
It's wrong because it's murder, and I just don't think that people should do that, and they're going to be held accountable for it.
You can see a more in-depth explainer about why the High Court ruled the way they did on my Facebook page. Just search for Watchdog Ben.
Ben, thank you. President Biden responded to today's ruling, calling it a very solemn moment and saying it feels like Americans lost a constitutional right today.
Too often the case. The poor women are going to be hit the hardest. It's cruel. In fact, the court laid out state laws criminalizing abortion that go back to the 1800s as rationale. The court literally taking America back 150 years. This is a sad day for the country, in my view.
Right now, the president says his administration is determining how to move forward. He says he cannot keep the Roe v. Wade protections on his own, but Congress could if they passed a federal law. However, he acknowledged that's not likely to happen.
Shortly after the decision, Senator Tom Tillis released a statement, writing in part, "This ruling is historic and monumental and affirms my belief that all life is sacred."
While this is a big national conversation, right now it's unlikely we'll see an immediate direct impact here in North Carolina.
The Republicans have the majority in both the state House and Senate, but they don't have enough votes to override a potential governor veto on abortion restrictions.
We do have a Democratic governor, so he obviously can overturn some of these laws that are coming through the assembly, but and the legislature is of course primarily Republican, and we know that folks are leaning towards this idea around restricting, and that I'm not sure where our state will end up on this continuum, but I'm not confident that we would just stick with what we have on the books right now.
Let's take a look at North Carolina's history with abortion laws. In 1973, lawmakers banned abortions after 20 weeks. That's usually the halfway point in a woman's pregnancy, just before the fetus is considered medically viable or possibly able to survive outside the womb.
Years later, in 2011, the topic came up again under the Woman's Right to Know Act. Lawmakers voted to require a counseling session 24 hours before an abortion procedure, parental permission for women under 18, and ultrasound viewings. Then Governor Bev Perdue vetoed the bill, but the General Assembly overrode her veto.
In 2015, lawmakers updated that law with Women and Children's Protection Act, which issued a mandatory 3-day waiting period after a consultation before an abortion can happen. The law also narrowed the acceptable exceptions in which abortions can happen after 20 weeks.
In 2019, a lower court decision allowed abortions after 20 weeks in certain situations. Then last year, an appeals court agreed, citing Roe v. Wade. Now, in light of this morning's Supreme Court decision, Senate Leader Phil Berger and House Speaker Tim Moore sent a letter to State Attorney General Josh Stein asking him to reinstate the ban on all abortions after 20 weeks.
While the fate of abortion rights in North Carolina is a developing story, several state officials have already weighed in.
Governor Cooper wrote today, it's now up to the states to determine whether women get reproductive health care, and in North Carolina, they still can. I will continue to trust women to make their own medical decisions as we fight to keep politicians out of the doctor's exam room.
We also heard from North Carolina House Speaker Tim Moore, who said North Carolinians can rest assured that we are taking the necessary steps to ensure that current restrictions on the books will be enforced. North Carolinians can also expect pro-life protections to be a top priority of the legislature when we return to our normal legislative session in January.
As you know, this is a big story that we will be following for a while. We've already put together comprehensive coverage on WFMYnews2.com. To see it, just text the word SCOTUS to 336-379-5775 and we will send you a link to that story.
Well, Eric, it's been another nice but hot day across the Triad.
Yeah, you know, we're in pretty good shape. It looks like we're going to stay within a few degrees of normal. I mean, this is kind of what we expect this time of the year, right? It is summer officially now. So these temperatures are right in line. 87, 88, that's a normal high range for us this time of the year. We're at 84 in Winston-Salem, 86 in Greensboro, High Point 88. Let's look back west, Statesville at 88, Wilkesboro 86, and then even to the east, 84 in Burlington and Siler City. At Raleigh-Durham at the airport there in Raleigh, they're showing up at 91 degrees. Always a little hotter down east, isn't it? Overnight tonight, 68 for the low. That'll be your morning step out temperature. 82 by midday with that high of 87 right on the money from where we should be this time of the year. Look for partly cloudy skies overall. I think we're mainly dry through most of the weekend. We'll keep a 20% chance of a shower in for Saturday and Sunday, but you can see the radar shows next to nothing out there. Mountain communities in the higher elevations, maybe that 20% for those folks, but for the Triad, we're probably fairly dry. 87 and 89 Saturday, Sunday. We drop to 86 Monday. That's our best chance of showers and storms, a 50-50 shot. 40% Tuesday, and we go down to 81. Then on the backside of that, mainly dry for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A very slight 20% for Thursday, Friday. Highs build back to the upper 80s.
New info in a High Point murder investigation. Police say they identified the woman shot and killed last night. Police say 42-year-old Christina Malacote was killed at her home last night. Responding crews transferred her to a hospital where she later died. Police haven't identified a suspect in this case yet. Call Crime Stoppers if you know anything.
Today, Congress passed its first major federal gun safety legislation in decades. The Senate passed it last night and the House did so today. 15 Republicans, including Tom Tillis and Richard Burr, joined 50 Democrats in the vote to approve the bill. The last federal gun safety law was passed in the 90s. The bill now heads to President Biden's desk.
We are just a little over a week out from downtown Greensboro's July 4th celebration. Fun 4th was canceled in 2020 and last year's was modified for safety. This year you'll see a return of traditional events like the Freedom Run, vendors, food, and street performers. There's also some new events to check out like the Red, White, and Roll roller skating rink, a balloon maze, and interactive games in Fantastic Alley. Everything wraps up with the fireworks at the Greensboro Grasshoppers game at First National Bank Stadium. Right now, organizers say they are still in need of volunteers. To sign up, just look for this story on our website. And the Winston-Salem Recreation and Parks Department is sponsoring a fireworks show on Saturday to celebrate the start of summer. The fireworks will be launched from the high ground and quarry at Grant Park starting at 9 p.m. They should be visible from vantage points throughout the city. When we think of fireworks, we often think of July 4th, which is right around the corner. So I asked you on my Facebook page, what are your 4th of July traditions? Angie Meek says, it's my daddy's birthday, so we do a cookout every year. Brittany Wall says, this year I'm working, but my family celebrates at City Lake Park every year, then fireworks in Eden. Jasmine Jaylene wrote, chilling at home, watching the fireworks through the window or inside the car. My son's birthday is on the 6th, so it's celebrated on the 4th. Jonathan Jones wrote, family vacation to White Lake.
So many fun things. I just love the 4th of July. And it's great that Winston-Salem, they're doing, I mean, like you said, they're doing their fireworks tomorrow night. I mean, we're talking about more than a week out. So people are going to be in the spirit for many, many days. Yeah.
And the weather will be nice for it as well.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect this weekend. For me, like our family, we go downtown for the Fun 4th usually and kind of do that thing. But it's always so hot on July 4th. And, you know, I'm not a big heat person, so I'm down there for a limited amount of time, and then I usually bolt inside somewhere.
Yeah, we usually cook out and then we go somewhere to see the fireworks. Last year I was in Charlotte because my sister's birthday is on the 5th of July, so we usually celebrate the 4th as well. So we went to Charlotte at her house, cooked out, and then we went to downtown Charlotte and just watched randomly downtown. There was not a specific location, just wherever you could be, and it was a good time.
I love to see fireworks over a big city like Charlotte.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And just seeing all the people come out, it's pretty cool.
I've started making a tradition where I go home now to Wisconsin for the 4th. And my parents, I grew up in a very small town. My parents are in the Lions Club, so they have a float in the parade on the 4th of July.
Fun.
And last year they were like, hey, Chad, do you want to be in the parade with us? So I was. It was just really cool to be, I was just sitting in the passenger seat like, hey, everybody.
You gonna do it again this year?
I think I'm going to do it again this year. It was just kind of was a fun tradition, and yeah, just get to spend time with the family.
So do you guys ever pop your own fireworks, or did you growing up ever do some of that?
We do that with the kids. We have the little
sparklers.
Yeah, and the snap pop things that you throw on the ground. My kids love those. So we do that, and my driveway has become the gathering place for some of the neighborhood kids. I just want to tell you real quick, Melita on our Facebook, she said that she cooks out every year and then watches fireworks from her house. So.
Oh, I like that. That's nice if you're able to watch it on your deck or in your backyard and not have to actually go to an actual location.
Wonderful. All right, we'll take a break. Let us know on Facebook what you think. So when we talk about a drier condition, not only today, but also Saturday and to some degree on Sunday as well, this is what we mean. Late day showers and thunderstorms, we usually look for that this time of the day. Little piddly showers there in Ashe County around Jefferson and West Jefferson and just to the south of Boone, the south of Watauga County. That's it, and they're very small. And the way our winds are shaping up, when we get that southerly flow, sometimes we'll see a couple of showers develop along the mountains, at least on the east side of the mountains. And that's kind of what we'll deal with over the next 2 or 3 days. I think at least through the weekend, most of the models are kind of hinting that if we do get a late day shower, it might be right along the ridge there of the Appalachian Mountains and not so much over the Triad. So get ready for a dry couple of days at least coming up. You can see here as we look at our surface chart, that front just kind of fizzles out, high pressure moves in. When you're under that dome or that ridge of high pressure, it usually squelches out a lot of the rain activity, and that's kind of what's happening. 20% chance. We'll keep that in Saturday again. I don't think it's a whole lot to that. Same story on Sunday. We'll watch for the next system to move in. And the way the winds will work around that high, it'll start to warm us up. Heat will start to build back in again. And as we get into Monday with that front moving by, probably the best chance we're going to see of a shower or two. It's like a 50% chance. Now this is Saturday or overnight. We might see a mountain shower. Notice how the same story, there's Saturday afternoon. Now we're going to Sunday afternoon. It's all just kind of hovered around the mountain areas if you were to see a scattered shower or two. And we might not see a great deal over the Triad. We'll keep that 20% in just in case, but Sunday might be the one day that we might sneak one in our foothill communities. Monday, 50-50 shot. Highs, by the way, Saturday, Sunday, upper 80s, mid 80s Monday. On the backside of that front, we go to 81 on Tuesday. Rain starts to leave us and we're dry for the most part. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mid 80s Wednesday, upper 80s close to 90 for Thursday and Friday.
Being patient can be hard, especially when everything around us is getting faster. Today, Coach Lamont shares a message about waiting and how it gets you closer to your goals.
What you build in silence will speak for you in due time. It's important to never quit, especially when it seems the opinions of others are the only voices you hear. It reminds me of the story of Noah. People didn't understand why he would build a vessel that would keep him and his family protected from something called rain. At that time, the world had never seen rain. It was foreign to them. See, it was hard for them to believe in something they had never seen before. But when the rain came, the doubters were proven wrong. It is okay if people want to doubt you. That is their prerogative and not your concern. As long as you can see what your heart desires, that is all, and remember this, that is truly all that matters.
I shared it.
It's
What's
Friday,
up, Facebook?
Friday.
Oh, that's
Gotta
Lauren's.
get down on Friday.
It's Lauren's routine.
Is that a copyright infringement? Well, I think because you sang it better than her, it doesn't count.
Shots
Yeah,
fired.
true.
Facebook, what's up? You have fun plans this weekend? I'm going to sit by a pool tomorrow.
I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same. My pool finally opened. We got some new lawn pool furniture, so now we can actually use it. So I'm excited.
Bobby Odom says he's going to Greensboro Saturday to eat a nice lunch and then have some fun in downtown Greensboro.
Really?
Where are you going in downtown?
Yeah, let us know,
Greensboro,
Bobby.
Fat Tuesday?
Don't hold out.
I mean, he's around. I saw him that one time.
Oh, that's right. You met him, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. And I still can't stop thinking about that comment he made the other day about the robot.
Oh,
Can't hit on him like a real bartender.
I love you.
He said, I can't flirt with the robot bartender.
What would you like?
Speaking of robots, y'all heard that story about the Alexa and how she can talk like in the voice of your dead relatives?
Oh, yeah, like Amazon has created this technology.
What?
Where you just like have the person like talk a little bit. Whoever, like, let's say I wanted your voice forever. You just talk a little bit, and it records it, and then it's able to somehow process all words using your voice.
So you could play an old video of a relative who's passed, and then they can read you bedtime stories and
see, I'd cry
answer your calls.
If I had my dad in there, I'd cry. That's interesting.
It's interesting. At first, I was a little creeped out, but then when our producer was like, "They could read you bedtime story," I was like, "Okay, I can see how that could be comforting."
For me, the skeptic in me is like, geez, how are people going to use this information for other things?
Oh, there's always something.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
that.
we got to go. We'll see you on TV.
Oh, there's a new movie rocking the theaters. The film Elvis is tackling the job of laying out the singer's rise to fame.
Starring Austin Butler, the drama swings and hip thrusts through Presley's complicated life. But is it news to approve? WFMY News 2's photojournalist Manning Franks finds out.
Few musical artists can say they've had music that has shaped a culture, and even fewer can say they've had the distinction of being known as the king or the queen of their respective musical genre. Elvis Presley, though, fits both of those criteria. Naturally, any biopic titled after him has a lot to live up to, but thankfully this one in particular offers both flash and it has a distinct style that is reminiscent to the king of rock and roll himself. Thankfully, this bravado-boasting film had me all shook up with the film's burning love for the man, the myth, the legend. Now it's time for a little less conversation and a little more review. I'm done, I promise.
I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley. Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
Elvis Presley needs no introduction. A music icon who went against the grain of the time, Elvis had humble beginnings in rural Memphis where he made a name for himself by pioneering a type of music called rockabilly. During this time, ambitious and sleazy music producer Tom Parker discovers the young man and they strike up a partnership that will define generations and shatter records.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Elvis Presley.
Baz Luhrmann's biopic of Elvis chronicles the time from cradle to grave of the musician's rise to stardom and ultimately the downfall of the superstar. Elvis is a bombastic fever dream that matches the energy and larger-than-life personality that the star possessed whenever he strutted onto stage. As flashy as it is irreverent, Baz Luhrmann's directing style is an apt choice, and arguably only choice, to bring Elvis Presley to life. While it's excessive in its almost 3-hour length, the kinetic energy in the editing keeps the movie flowing at a frantically entertaining pace, with creative interspersing of Elvis's classic songs that work akin to a music video. Although what is an Elvis movie without Elvis himself? While Tom Hanks is perfectly fine as Elvis's manager Tom Parker, it's Austin Butler that steals the show as he proves his way into the Hall of Fame of amazing biopic performances. He embodies every aspect of Presley, from bright-eyed young man to drug addict mega performer in his twilight. It's as if we're seeing Elvis come to life once again with Butler's magnetic charisma leading the way. Certainly, it's going to be hard to beat the performance of the summer, in my opinion. Elvis is the rare biopic that not only does an excellent job with its subject, but literally personifies the icon in every frame, immortalizing this hound dog in an everlasting cinematic experience. Runtime aside, this is the perfect encapsulation of Elvis in both style and substance. I'm giving Elvis a rockin', news to approved. You can watch it only in theaters.
I'm so excited because I've been waiting for this and I wanted to see what Manning had to say, so I'm in.
I haven't been to the movie theater since 2020, since March of 2020, so this is a movie I do plan to see. I was talking to Manning yesterday while we were working on a story, and he said he absolutely loved it. And I love Tom Hanks. Anything that he is in is really good. So
I know my grandma's probably already in line for tickets for this.
She's camped out.
She's a crazy fan.
Really?
Of Elvis, yeah. So I mean, we went to like the Wax Museum in Las Vegas once, where they have like Madame Tussauds, and they had an Elvis figure.
Of course.
She acted like it was the real Elvis. It was, it was really cute.
I'm just happy that for once I can say that none of us were alive whenever this person was the big deal.
Right.
I do remember, I mean, as a kid, I do remember him. He died, I think, when I was in middle school. But I remember my dad telling me, of course I didn't know anything about this, but when he was on the Ed Sullivan Show, that they made the cameras pan up so they wouldn't show his hips moving around because they thought that was vulgar. And so, yeah, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal. You know, I used to live in Memphis and Graceland is there, and people all around the world will come for like Elvis Week. You see all these people. They're not called impersonators. They're
That's
Elvis.
Right.
What's the term
Yeah, I just
for it?
interviewed one on the 4 to 5. What is it? Tribute artists.
Yeah,
That's
tribute
what they're
artists.
called.
And some of these people are spot on. Like my last job, we had like a Christmas party, and they invited one of them to the party, and he was just walking around taking pictures with people.
You know, there's still
cool.
a circuit where they go around and they perform and win, and they try to get trophies, and they add their credits up over the year, like these tribute artists.
Really?
It's a thing,
It's a
and
big
it's
deal.
worldwide.
Like their resume, like here's my look at this. Wow. That guy looked, the actor.
He did. The hair was slick, the little curl in the front.
I'm excited too because, you know, during that time there weren't a lot of documented videos and pictures, you know, so it's nice to be able to kind of see it from what is close to probably reality.
Yeah, a clearer view. Yeah, very good. All right, we'll take a break. We'll see you in just a minute.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together. Thank you.
A history-making moment for our country today. Forever in our history books, June 24th, 2022 will be the day the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Welcome to 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silber here with Lauren Coleman.
We'll get to your forecast in a few, but for now, let's dive deeper into today's ruling.
The U.S. Supreme Court Roe v. Wade decisions reverses nearly 50 years of jurisprudence. This means for the last 50 years, abortion rights were protected on a federal level.
Now that decision falls on individual states where some are already rolling out new restrictions.
Demonstrators against abortion rights erupted in cheers after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The mood outside the court highly charged with the release of the much-anticipated ruling.
We don't want to hear cheers about women being slammed back to the dark ages.
The conservative majority court sided with the state of Mississippi and its supporters in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. With their case, Mississippi officials asked the High Court to eliminate the constitutional right to abortion, first established in 1973.
This decision is a victory for the pro-life movement and for the generations of Americans who never gave up hope.
President Biden spoke out following the decision.
Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
According to the Guttmacher Institute, which supports abortion rights, an estimated 26 states were either certain or likely to ban abortion if the High Court overturned or dismantled Roe. The appointment of 3 conservative justices by President Trump is a reason why this ruling landed the way it did. Let's have a deeper look at the role each Supreme Court justice played in today's ruling. Justice Samuel Alito delivered the opinion and was joined by Justices Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Chief Justice John Roberts concurred, writing that while he supports the overturning of Roe v. Wade, related Roe laws should remain untouched. The court's 3 liberal justices, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Stephen Breyer, dissented.
As you can imagine, today's ruling from the Supreme Court has a lot of people talking. Some are pro-choice, others are pro-life, and some are right in the middle. We spoke to 2 North Carolina groups about the Supreme Court's decision.
We think that life is sacred and that life starts at the beginning, at conception. So we would like to see abortion illegal in North Carolina. However, we have to educate people and change their hearts and minds.
This should not be political at all. This should have never been political. We've managed to let 5 people make a decision for our nation for the rest of their lives, and that's not right.
Opinions, as you can imagine, are pouring in on social media. We have this post on our Twitter page right now asking if you support the decision. So far, more than 100 people have responded, and 66% say no, 33% say yes.
Right now, President Biden and Democrats in Congress are pushing for passage of legislation enshrining the right to an abortion into federal law. The measure would add federal protection separate from the Supreme Court. The bill had passed the House but twice, most recently in mid-May, but failed to meet the 60-vote threshold to advance in the Senate. Even if it were to pass, debate over the measure's constitutionality can make it back to the Supreme Court. And based on today's ruling, the court likely would overturn it.
So we know abortion laws are now up to each state, and here in North Carolina, our Democratic governor can veto any abortion measures which happen to be passed by the Republican-led House and Senate. But a supermajority of the House and the Senate can override a governor's veto. How do we even get to this supermajority? Well, the answer is it can happen during the midterm election this November. Usually, whatever party is in power in the White House loses seats. And when I say loses seats, they lose the seats in federal and also in state races. Why? Usually the opposing party comes out in droves, but maybe not this year after this Supreme Court ruling.
I'm not sure this is going to be a normal election. Democrats, if I'm the Democrats, that's going to be how I'm running my campaign. I'm going to run on that. It might be that it motivates enough Democrats that would have stayed home to help them prevent this supermajority.
All right, so here's what you're asking. What does it take to get to a supermajority? The short answer is 60% plus 1, and that ends up being about 73 Republicans in the House and 31 Republicans in the Senate. How far away are we from getting there right now? Well, let's take a look at the numbers. It's really just a handful. There are now 69 Republicans in the House and 28 Republicans in the Senate. But even if all the seats are then given to Republicans, that doesn't mean that Republicans can get all the votes.
If I'm the Republicans, I would not want to be in the same situation the Democrats are in Washington, the Senate, where they have to hold everybody together. And if they get 73 or 31, they're going to have to hold everybody together unless they can get some Democrats to cross.
So what will happen for the midterms and then after? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see.
The overturning of this landmark decision that's been in place for nearly 50 years is rare. It's not often we see reversals by the Supreme Court of cases this high profile. Dr. Denise Nation is the chair and associate professor of history, politics, and social justice at Winston-Salem State University. She said this decision could have long-term implications.
And so it's also concerning in the sense that if the court is willing to overturn its own precedent on this particular issue, we have to be cognizant that the court probably is open to overturning other precedents, and so that then becomes concerning and problematic, in my opinion.
Dr. Nation also said while this is fundamentally a case involving women's rights, the overturning of this ruling impacts everyone.
Because if fathers are involved in these decisions around family, how do we create family? How do we move forward with our family? Are we ready for family work and family life and family balance? You know, how does that impact folks? So it's not just the peeling away of the fundamental rights of females in this society, but it also is impactful for males as well.
Dr. Nation again emphasized elections have consequences and that it's important for citizens to embrace the fundamental right to vote. I definitely think this decision opened a lot of people's eyes to what can happen in politics and why it's important to get involved on local, state, and national levels, because it's up, you know, basically when you vote, that makes some of the decisions.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that this puts the spotlight now back in your home turf, right? So now, if you don't know where you stand on this, you probably need to do some research and figure out where you need to be with it, and then you vote accordingly, because that's the only way that you're going to affect your particular area, your state, your region, really.
And taking like just a bigger picture look, think about the extraordinary last 2 days we've had.
Yeah.
We've had some decisions over gun rights and gun control legislation for the first time since the 90s. Today, a decision that was, the last major decision was 50 years ago. I mean, we've had some major cases, and I mean, if you think about it, gun rights and abortion are two of the most controversial topics that you can bring up in society.
And I was also thinking about that, the conversations people are going to be having and how it's important that we remain respectful, because even people in the same household might be on different sides of this abortion issue, or people at your job or people within your church even. So I think it's important that we remember, you know, you got to respect other people's opinions even if they differ from your own.
Civil conversations would be good. And also just remember, it all comes back to our political system, that the biggest power we all have is the power to vote.
Stay out of the comments on Facebook, right? Like that. I mean, this.
People say one thing, they start battling with each other. You could be talking about ice cream, and then you're going to end up talking about politics near the end of the day.
Wow. Okay. Can you scroll for me here?
Yes, I got you.
I don't have my little clicky thing. As you know, this is a big story that we will continue to follow for a while. We've already put together comprehensive coverage on WFNYnews2.com. Just text the word SCOTUS to 336-379-5775, and we will send you a link. We'll be right back.
You know, just a couple of little showers when we look at the local and regional radar. You know, Ashe County, a little bit there, just a couple of showers, and I don't even know if you classify that as a thunderstorm. It looked more like just heavy rain. We're not seeing much in the way of lightning, and that pattern is kind of where we're stuck for a while. You notice just a couple of little light showers along the Appalachian there, and that's basically what we'll see, I think, again Saturday and Sunday as we watch for the rain. We're just in a dry period. Today, it's only a 20% chance. Same story for Saturday and Sunday. Now, Sunday, we might be able to turn things around a little bit because there'll be an approaching front that'll move through Monday, and that could bring heavier showers on Monday. Monday's the best chance, really, at a 50-50 shot for that. High pressure, though, will move across the region. This is why we remain fairly dry. Now, remember that clockwise flow around the high. That means winds coming in out of the southeast to south, and as they push up the mountains and they're forced to lift, you'll see some of those showers developing along the mountains. And then the next system that comes in is a cold front that'll move through. Again, that's a Monday situation. Now, this is a Sunday at noon map that you're seeing here. The heat does start to build back in again, and once that front goes by, we'll see much cooler air, some lower 80s on the backside of that front, but it takes us time to get here. Here's the futurecast. Now, this is as we head into tomorrow. Notice that, yes, a couple of showers along the mountains. Now we go into Sunday, and here's Sunday afternoon. Same story. It's just once we get closer to Monday, those rain chances go up because it's an actual frontal boundary moving through and not just some random pop-up showers. So tonight, 68 degrees. It'll be pretty comfortable tomorrow morning, partly cloudy. By the way, this is a great weekend weather-wise, so if you have any outdoor plans that you've been thinking about, you need to do those in the next couple of days. Even this evening feels good as well. 87 for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. That is exactly where we should be for this time of the year. That is our normal high temperature. Here's the 7-day forecast for you, and we go 87 and 89 for your Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday, 86 with a better chance of scattered showers and storms. It's a 50% chance. I think Tuesday, that's a 40% late day, but may not see much in the way of storms just because we're down to about 81. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're on the other side of that front. We'll start to build back in temperature-wise, but partly cloudy, mainly dry for those 3 days. Mid-80s Wednesday and upper 80s for Thursday and Friday.
We're in the heart of summer, and even though it's hot, players were out on the golf course today for a good cause.
It is that time of year, right? Former Panther Ricky Proehl hosted his golf classic, raising money for charities and scholarships, funding after-school activities. Photojournalist Brian Hall got all the action on the course.
We're just trying to make an impact on our community. I can't say enough about the support of the Greensboro community and the local business that have helped give back to make what we're doing today possible. It's humbling, year in and year out, to do this for over 25 years and see some new faces, but see a lot of the familiar faces that have been supporting this cause for over 25 years. It's awesome, from like Children's Home Society, Boys and Girls Club, United Way. For us to be able to, Richard Petty Family Foundation is just an amazing organization. To be able to cut them a check and to help their cause, it's about team, and it's forming a team, and you know, we help them, they help us, and it's working together. It makes you feel so good when you can help organizations, because you know how hard it is to raise money, especially in these times. So it definitely it makes you feel good. Again, it comes back to playing sports and winning, and we're winning right now, and it's a great feeling.
He's such a cool guy.
Yes, that's exactly
Y'all
what I
were
was
watching
gonna
the
say.
story like this.
Such a nice guy. The whole family. I worked with his sister in TV back in the day. We were both in Myrtle Beach at the same time, working in television and here for a while. And the whole family is just all about family and friends. I mean, that's what he brings. He gives back. You know, he was blessed with a great NFL career, and he gives back every year.
I love that he uses his celebrity and his influence to do good things. I mean, a lot of people, once they get out of whatever they're in that made them famous or popular, they just kind of go in a hole and not do anything. So it's great to see that. And what I love about Ricky Proehl is he is like our triad Panther, right? Like,
yes, that's right.
I don't even know if there are any other former Panther players.
I think there are a couple from the local area, but not as many. I mean, he was so successful all over the NFL and multiple teams, couple Super Bowls and all that.
Yeah, it's great for him using his platform to impact the youth, impact the community, and everybody loves golf around here. So
it's true. I'll tell you a funny story. The twins, I made them volunteer, when they were teenagers, one time for a charity thing that Ricky Proehl was doing, and so they met him, and I said, "This is Mr. Proehl, like Prolific Park," and then I said, "Yeah, he played for the Panthers and the Super Bowl Rams," and they were, Like they didn't get it at first. They're like, he was in a Super Bowl. I said, no, he won a Super Bowl. Like he's like, and they from then on they're Ricky Prohl fans. You know.
That's cool. Prolific Park. That's a whole nother
So
thing.
nice.
You were out there live last year sometime.
They do great programs. Our kids have played basketball there. It's a lot of
It's
fun.
huge.
All right, take a break. We're coming right back.
Well, check this out. COVID vaccines first became available about 18 months ago. A new study estimates how many lives the shot saved around the world. CBS's Ian Lee talks to doctors to get all the data and what it means for the pandemic.
Previous studies show COVID-19 vaccines can protect against severe illness, hospitalization, and death. Now new research reveals nearly 20 million lives were saved in the year following the vaccination rollout.
That is just a remarkable number, and it's the core reason why many higher income countries have been able to relax many of the interventions that they've had in place for the past 2 years and return to a sort of new state of normal in this pandemic.
The study, based on data from 185 countries and territories, was published in the Lancet Infectious Diseases. Dr. Oliver Watson from Imperial College London says most of the deaths prevented were in high and middle income countries, which calls attention to inequalities in access to vaccines.
Are there any countries that still don't have enough vaccines?
Many. There are many countries that still do not have enough vaccines across the world. We must do better in the next pandemic. So much more could have been done if vaccines had been distributed more equitably and faster across the world.
Dr. Watson also stresses that getting shots into as many arms as possible worldwide could have limited the outbreak of new variants.
That's impressive. 19 million lives saved because of, well, I guess what they've figured out in this study. The thing that is hard to wrap my mind around is how we're even able to come up with a number like that.
Me too. I don't, it's hard for me to, thank goodness these people know what they're doing. How in the world do you break down a virus and figure out a fix? You know, like I can't even
Especially something so new. I'm glad we had this data, this 19.8 million. So for people who may not have believed in the vaccines or were hesitant about it, we have that number to show this is how many lives, you know, have been saved by this. So that's something else that they can, you know, kind of look into when making that decision.
It makes me wonder, because I was double vaccinated when I got it, not the booster yet, but double vaccinated, and I just thought to myself, what would it have been like if I hadn't have been vaccinated? Because mine was fairly mild compared to most.
I think we got to start working on cancer treatment here.
Oh, it absolutely shows like when you put all these resources together and make it a top priority, we could probably find the cure to a lot of things.
You know, when that day happened, can you imagine what talk about a big news day if they ever invent something. They think now that they do have a way by looking at your DNA, they can tell you whether you are susceptible to certain types of cancer, and they think they're close to gene therapy making huge differences in this.
You can know if you need to start doing those early screenings or just like getting a lot of attention put on if you don't have one of those genes, protecting genes.
It'd be amazing. All right, shall we talk about a forecast, because things are looking good for us?
We shall.
We shall. It is that time. It's in my contract. I have to do it. All right, here's what we see with the radar out here. There's not a lot happening rain-wise, and that will be the case through the weekend. I think what you see here is kind of what you're going to get on Saturday and Sunday. An isolated shower mostly back to the west, not so much over the triad. Rain chances only about a 20%. That's for today, tomorrow, and Sunday, as a matter of fact. Sunday, maybe a little bit more just because the front is getting closer to us, but Monday is the day that we expect to see a 50% chance of showers, maybe even in some cases, some of the models are going as high as 70%, but we'll get some rain on Monday, safe to say. This is looking at Saturday morning. The high pressure is moving to the east. Why do we care about that? Because under that big dome of high pressure, you usually don't get a lot of lift, and that is what you need for thunderstorms and showers. So keep that rain chance at a 20 just in case. Again, some of those showers will develop right along the mountain chain because winds will be coming out of the south and lifting up the mountains. This front is what will move through, we think, on Monday. Heat does start to build back in until that front clears us, and then things drop a little bit. So all that, we've summed it up in the 7-day for you. Easy. 87 tomorrow, 89 Sunday. Kind of the same forecast for both days. 20% chance of isolated shower if we get anything at all. Monday, the best chance of rain and scattered storms. Tuesday, a 40% chance of late day, but highs drop from 89 on Sunday to 86 Monday, 81 Tuesday, and then we'll build back with mostly dry conditions Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mid-80s on Wednesday, 88 and 89 for Thursday and Friday.
One, two, three, Roe v. Wade, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
Callie, I'm here. What a difficult day. 1, 2, 3. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
In that bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thanks.
pro-life or pro-choice. No matter where you stand on the issue, the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade drives home one important point for all of us. Elections matter. They've got consequences. And you want someone who shares your beliefs in office to make the choices that impact your life. Sure, this ruling was done by Supreme Court justices who aren't elected, but those folks were appointed by presidents and confirmed by senators. The two big elections where the most people vote, actually. Even though those are the biggies, in North Carolina's 2020 general election, 1 out of every 4 eligible voters stayed home. Let someone else make their decisions about who's in power, who will ultimately control their life. Things get even worse when you look at local and statewide elections. Turnout for municipal elections in North Carolina in 2021 was just 9%. That's it. It's so low, I'd have someone else go over the numbers too to make sure we were reading it right. Here's why we've got to do better. It's going to be up to state lawmakers to decide if abortions are legal. So it's not enough to just vote for president and senator. We've got to vote in every single election, from the school board to the White House. It matters. Your voice matters. Remember, out of all the rights we have in America, voting is the most important because it can control all the other rights you do and do not get. I'm Ben Briscoe. That's my 2 cents.
Life for today! Life for today!
It's just, there's now hope for the women and children who have been hurt and killed by abortion.
This decision must not stand! This decision is illegitimate. Abortion bans are